Thank you very much. Great opportunity to be invited to speak with you guys this afternoon. Even though I've worked a lot with rugby union at the moment, I work with the Brumbies and I also work with North Melbourne in the AFL. My first love has always been rugby league. I grew up out in Punchbowl, went to Punchbowl Boys High, and much to my chagrin have been a lifetime Bulldogs fan. Although at one time I really wanted to be a Berry. My heroes were people like Ron Costello and Nev Hornery and Les Johns, a guy called Bernie Lowther who came over from New Zealand for a few years. I really wanted to be a Berry. Didn't have talent, didn't have ability, probably wasn't tough enough, all those things, and this is the result. I now stand behind you 47 years later. But it's a great opportunity again to talk about good to great. How you actually look at a talented young player and work with them and help them realise their potential, which is what we're all about. The name of the game is all potential. There are hundreds of good players. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of good players in all footy codes. You come across them all the time. You see them in camps, you see them in clinics, you see them running out on the field, you see them as young as 10, 11, 12 years of age, where you start to build a concept that you're working with a talented player, potential professional player, an elite player, a really good player. If they get to regional representation level, if they're a state junior player, to my mind, they've got the physical talent, they've got the raw physical abilities to take them anywhere. And then they make a decision or they make a choice that they're going to be great. Every so often you come across an absolute physical freak. I spent a year with the Western Force a few years ago, and I remember when Matt Giddo came in and he started to do the running drills that the strength and conditioning coach had prescribed, and the guy floated, and the guy had so much power, and he was balanced, and his head was in the right position, and everything was great. And every so often you see these incredible physical talents that just knock your socks off. But a lot of the time you're just running into kids who've been talented and have worked really hard at it and have decided to make a decision. They've made a decision that they want to go as far as they can with the talent they've got. And I think most of the players that we deal with, most of the players that we come across are those types of players. It's funny though that during the conversations you've had in the last few days, when the names of players come up, even if they're young schoolboy players, most of the time we talk in terms of physical talent. So you'll say, how's John going? Oh mate, big kid, tough kid, fast kid, great skills, great hands. Oh, kid, strong kid, blowing them off the park in training, tackles. The kid's tough as hell. We generally talk about kids in terms of physical ability, physical talent. To try and convince you over the next hour of is that physical talent, sure, it's important. And to be a real superstar in any game, physical talent, having the right combination, speed, strength, power, endurance, skills, decision-making, problem-solving, all that stuff is critical to get to the real top. To be a superstar, to be a Fittler, to be a Terry Lamb, you knew I'd throw a Bulldog in there. But to be a superstar, there's no doubt having the right amount of physical talent is going to be critical. But I want to convince you that for the majority of players that you'll come across, the majority of players that we'll all work with in our life, the critical thing is who they are as human beings and what underpins that talent. To maybe get you thinking about is imagine if you had 25 players like that walking with that level of physical talent, walk in. But just imagine we've got cloning absolutely right. Well, this guy's got an identical twin brother. Same physical talent, same strength, same size, same height, same weight, same power, same muscle fibre distribution, same VO2 max and all those things. Kid on the left, we go, big kid. Kid comes in and we go, he comes late. We don't worry about it because he's a big kid. Kid doesn't do all his training. We don't worry about it. He's a big kid. Kid gets in trouble a little bit. We don't worry about it. Kid's got so much talent. We just let him go. We let him roll. Kid doesn't follow a game plan. Oh, it doesn't matter. He's a big kid. Runs straight, runs good hard lines. Kid doesn't follow a diet, doesn't stretch, doesn't work out in the gym, doesn't support his teammates, couldn't give a shit about the team dynamic, but he's a big kid. Kid's going to really add something to this because, God, mate, he can run, you know. Same guy on the left, same guy on the right, physically identical. Turns up early, does his extras, encourages his teammates, never misses a gym session. Gets to bed early, manages his alcohol, stretches, student of the game, Any weakness he's got, spends time working on it, improving it, getting it better. Lasts longer, realises his potential, and then impacts the entire culture of the team. Physical talent's important. We've got to think broader. Close your eyes for a minute and imagine, you don't really have to close your eyes if you don't, because after a big lunch you probably fall asleep and I'll never get you back again, but close your eyes and just think about, imagine having the most talented young footballer in Australia. I could have picked the rugby league example, I've decided not to, but you can insert several big names in what I'm about to go through. Follow this. There's a kid who, if you listen to the good judges in AFL, had as much physical talent as anyone who ever played the game. Kid who grew up with a football family, father and uncle in that previous photo, who grew up as great clubmen, passionate about the game. And there's this kid comes along, could do anything. Great hands, great vision, great speed, tough, had it all. And you talk to them and you talk to the guys who know and the guys involved in AFL. And this sort of thing comes up. Because of his physical talent, and we worship physical talent so much in the codes, that he was allowed to basically do what he wanted to do. No one told him no, no one held him back. It's a great quote that came out a few years ago when Wayne Carey was having some problems, and this quote from his wife, Sally Carey. His manager and Sally Carey, Wayne Carey's manager and Sally Carey are on the phone in Melbourne, and they're talking to each other and they're trying to get a little bit of a go. And Wayne Carey's manager started to make excuses and talked about, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, and so on. Sally Carey said this, it's a great line. Sally said, Nixon, Wayne Carey's manager, you're to blame, the club's to blame. I'm to blame, we're all at fault because we never said no. We never said no to the kid. We let him go with anything. Nixon's come back with this, and this is almost as good. Talent does not make you immune to life. Nixon said, the two biggest players I've dealt with have been called God and the King. That's a reflection of how we regard them. We validated them above the rest, and because of that, they were both headed for a fall. Guys, in the short term, the big, strong, fast, powerful, talented kid comes into your program, and the temptation is, into your club, temptation is to say, he's got some problems, but someone else will fix it. Someone down the line. So you're working with under 14 elites, rep teams, and you'll go, they get the ball, it'll get fixed up. I'm not going to be the guy to tell him no, because man, this guy can score, he can kick, he's going to make an impact. So you assume someone else in the pathway will fix them up. And then they get to 16, they get the ball, they go through junior reps, academy programs, state reps, all those things they go through, and we just leave it, and we leave it, and we leave it, and we're letting that physical talent go. We think the pros will fix it up. We think that they get their NRL, well, they'll fix them out. They've got leadership programs, they've got academies, and on and on and on it goes. Kid gets to 25. Too late to pull them into line at 25. Yeah.
Having the attitude of what that kid can do for me, not what you can see in the kid to help that kid become a better player. We've got too many coaches at all levels in the juniors that don't want to make the tough decisions. They're more interested in what that kid can do for them.
Yeah, it's a problem we're having in rugby as well. Right, we're having a problem in rugby is that the Super 15, the first 15 coaches, the GPS schools in Brisbane, I'll just talk about experience there, but their job depends on having the best first 15, 17, 18-year-old guys. Now, a lot of these guys that don't start first 15 competition until April, May next year have been on full weight programs since September, October 2008. So these are young kids, 16, 17, on 3 or 4 sessions a week in the gym, 7 months, 8 months out before an 8-week competition. Because the guy who's working with them, and I completely understand, the guys working with them, It's critical for his own survival and his financial security that these kids win at first 15 level. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that they could be doing with them to improve their long term and their longevity in the game that you just don't get to. But it's a good call. So what do we wish? This is what I think that we should be aiming for, coaches, with the elite young players that are coming through and even the seniors. First of all, a sense of self-confidence and self-belief that can't be diminished regardless of the situation. They believe in themselves and they're confident and they're not going to be driven by peers telling them, mate, don't train, come and have a few drinks, try the tablets, sniff a bit of this, jump into a car with me when I have a few grogs, and they buckle. To grow into a confident, independent athlete. So an athlete who can look after themselves, take care of themselves, accept responsibility for the direction of their life. To grow and say, yep, okay, I made a mistake, I stuffed up, how can I fix it and move on? To live a values-based existence, so integrity, honesty, sincerity, humility, courage, discipline, team, all those things. To live every day as if it was his last, to really enjoy it, never stop learning, be nice to your mum, and if they can play the game and they really love what they're doing. If you talk to players that have been in it for a long time and you say, why did you survive? They say, mate, I love the game. I love the training. I love being with the blokes. I love being with the team. They love things. They talk about the love that they feel being in such a great game. But this is where we've all got to take some responsibility and try and convert players that come in with great physical ability and physical talent. We have to teach them and train them how to be able to think like and act like champions. For a lot of people, it doesn't come natural. Champions aim to make training more challenging and more demanding than game situations. So think about that for a minute. A champion will ask more of themselves than even you can ask. You set work, they make it more challenging by the way they attempt it. You set them work and they'll work on a weakness instead of just sitting back and cruising on a strength. They come to you and say, hey coach, can you stay back with me, give me 10 minutes kicking. They ask for more, they demand more of themselves than anyone could demand. Champions see training, what the coach asks as a minimum, the standing point. I thought about how could I put this into words in terms of where you are with league. The average player sees training as a chore. They come up and they say, what are we doing today? So we're starting with 3 laps around the park, some sprints. They go, oh shit, 3 laps, my God. Or we're going to do 10 short sprints.